Hi, and welcome to Market Conversations. Today is February 24th, and just want to do a quick video on a few stocks, including Alibaba. Today was a very terrible day for many bulls. Stocks just plummeted. We have Alibaba that's down over 5%, and they had great earnings yesterday. Let's take a look at the news here. It says, what's going on with Alibaba shares? It says shares are trading lower by 6.27%. They are trading lower amid U.S.-China tensions and overall global weakness on rising U.S. inflation concerns. Nothing new here. You can see that back to the chart, we hit a high at 121. If we go further back to 1 year daily chart, we can see that it just can't break this 120 resistance. So it hit 120 back in April, and then in July, and then just recently back in January. And then there was a gap here that finally got filled a month later, and you can see that we hit a low of $89 today. If we take a look at the RSI, it is oversold. Before it was overbought when it hit a high at 120. So now it's oversold, and I think it's a great time to maybe slowly getting into Alibaba and holding it for a long term. But be careful when you're buying call options, because I had mentioned back when it was 110, 120 to be very careful when buying call options because they lose value very quickly. For some reason, Alibaba has a very wide bid and ask price from these options here. Just take a look at the March. You can see 205.2 and then 172, 162. They're so wide, so it's very hard to get filled at the price that you want, or you're going to lose a lot of money. So the best thing to do is just hold on to shares, because with Alibaba, you just never know when the stock is going to go up. It can take a very long time, because we can see back when it hit 125, this was back in July, and then it crashed to a low of $58 November. That's when it started to go up. So in this case, we don't know if it's going to continue to fall. It can. It's happened many times in the past. You can see that back in March of last year, we can see it was oversold. It was around 19. Oversold right now is about 27. So it can go lower. That's why it's better to just dollar cost average. And let's take a look at NIO. What's happening with NIO? This is such an ugly chart here. You can see that it's approaching support around $9 here. It did bounce off of support back in, let's see, November, again in January, and now it's hitting support again. So is it going to bounce off this time? We can see the RSI is oversold again. And wow, what a terrible, terrible chart here. People thought NIO was going to go to 100. This was back 2 years ago. EV stocks were hot. We had EV stocks like NIO, Li Auto, Xpeng, and now they just plummeted. Very, very sad. A lot of people lost money. I lost a fortune on these Chinese stocks. But you can see the volume is very high, and even call options, people are buying call options. We have the 10 strike, which is $51. And if you're thinking about buying call options, I would suggest going further out in expiration. So maybe the January 2024. People are buying the 15 calls. These are going for $1.21. You have 1,000 volume traded today. So why is NIO going down? Let's take a look. This is Audi's EV naming lawsuit against NIO gets shut down in Europe. Audi's attempt to block NIO from using the names ES8 and ES6 in Europe just took a turn after the European Union Intellectual Property Office shut down the German automaker's request. Okay, so that's one news there. It says NIO's building a battery plant. That's pretty bullish news here. It's a reason this key player is discounting lithium. Chinese electric vehicle NIO wants to be an electric battery maker too. It's a strategy employed by most automakers these days, and the trend is a little unnerving to the world's biggest battery maker. NIO plans to build its first EV battery plant that will have a capacity of 40 gigawatt hours a year. NIO didn't immediately respond to requests for comment about the plans. Car company-owned battery capacity can mean less business down the road for current NIO supplier and world's largest battery producer. The potential loss of business might be one reason that CATL recently unveiled a new pricing strategy that would supply batteries to automakers with an embedded lithium cost of $30,000 per metric ton. It's a significant discount. Lithium is a key component in lithium-ion batteries, and lithium prices are up roughly ninefold over the past few years. Rising prices and a desire to control key components in the EV supply chain has led most automakers to announce plans for battery capacity. High battery costs aren't the only reason car companies are struggling to make money on EVs. Scale is another big reason. The two EV makers that are consistently profitable are Tesla and BYD. Okay, let's go down. So not much news here except for the overall market. And see, here we go. We have NIO's earnings going to report March 1st. So again, these options are very expensive. March 1st, you can see that next week's option, the implied volatility is over 110%. That means it's going to be very volatile, but it's only pricing in a dollar move. So it can go up $1 or go down $1. This is what it's pricing in. So just be very cautious when you're buying these call options because they might appear cheap, but if you tend to buy a lot at a time, it's very easy to get caught up and it can easily go against you. So just be careful with that. I'm looking to buy maybe just a few call options. I'm suggesting I'm probably going for the April. That way it has time to possibly reach the target price. I'm just going to buy some of these 10 strike price. They're going for $85. If not, I can just go for these sell puts. If you sell a 750 put, you actually receive $39 and it lower your cost basis. So let's take a look. It's approaching support. So hopefully it can bounce off that support and we can get back above 10 and hopefully try to break this $15 resistance here. Let me know your thoughts on NIO or Alibaba. And thanks for watching.